Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. In just over 4.5 minutes, the 56th running of the Old Humble Distilling Company Quarantine Happy Hour will begin.
Is your bar looking a little ordinary? Is it lacking something awesome? Well, head out to your local liquor store and pick up something extraordinary. Grab a bottle of Old Humble Straight Whiskey or Old Humble Special Reserve. They're clean, smooth, easy drinking whiskeys that taste the way whiskey should taste. From humble beginnings to an extraordinary finish, Old Humble whiskeys are what your bar needs today. Walk tall, be awesome, and drink humble. Old Humble Straight Whiskey and Old Humble Special Reserve. Get yours today.
On the intro screen, the mics are hot. Sydney, say hi.
Hi.
All right, that is definitely you talking, and then we are fading in. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, children of all ages, welcome to the, what is this, 56th episode of the Old Humble Distilling Company Quarantine Happy Hour. My super awesome guest, the talented, quirky, funny, all-around good time making LUVSydneyMarie. Sydney, say hi, folks.
Guys.
There she is. She is all right, well, I'm going to kick it off right now. Thank my Cabin Fever folks, the Cabin Fever live stream network who carries us over on Twitch. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel here on the YouTubes, and hi to everybody out there in Twitter world. If we are broadcasting to the Twitter world right now, I'm not sure we are. Sydney, you are, well, I'm drinking this afternoon, this evening, our Special Reserve whiskey. There it is. And I will be sending you a bottle of our delicious Special Reserve whiskey.
I'm excited.
My cocktail today, this evening, is just simply whiskey in a Glencairn, straight whiskey. So there you go.
That's good. That's the way I drink.
Well, yeah, I know, right? Why? I mean, I've got a whole series of cocktails.
Why would you muddle it?
I'm sorry?
I said, why would you muddle it? Why would you ruin the taste of it?
Right, exactly. It is a this particular whiskey is 90% corn. It's aged 5 years in used barrels, and we finish it in new barrels. So it doesn't have as much of a bourbon flavor to it, but it has a nice, even smoky feel and smoky flavor in your drinking hole there.
Yes.
Although I do occasionally like to drink it in cocktails, and I have a whole cocktail series coming out on our YouTube channel, which people can find right there in the bottom. Let's see, it's in this corner here. Hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and do it. Chop, chop. But
do it.
I was telling you about a cocktail I made a few weeks ago called the Hot Mess. It is grenadine, lime juice, and our straight whiskey with a couple of dashes of Tabasco for flavor, served on the rocks.
It sounds like okay.
It's a dare. It's pretty much a dare, a drink that's also a dare. And it was like the first one was like I wasn't certain about it. The second one was okay, and by the third one, it was definitely a bad idea.
Have you ever had a Mexican martini?
I have not.
That's literally what it was called. It's pretty much the same thing, but with tequila, and then it's shaken with a little bit of olive juice.
Interesting.
It's super weird.
Interesting.
Yours sounds a lot better.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I made it, I liked it. When I went to a bar and asked a bartender to make it, I wasn't quite satisfied with it. So I think I just had the ratios when I wrote down the ratios.
Yeah, they might have done the pours wrong.
Mm-hmm. Probably needed more whiskey and less of all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Than what the bartender did. So you are you're an internet personality. That's the best way to describe it. Cosplay.
That's
Twitch, YouTube, Instagram. You're all over the Instagrams.
I'm something.
Reels now is what it would be, I suppose.
Yeah.
I've seen you on the Twitters. You're
TikTok,
out there all over.
OnlyFans. Yeah, I think I took over everything. Yeah.
And this is basically you are your brand. You are a full-time, at this point, internet personality.
Yeah.
Thanks to the apocalypse.
Yes.
Having a marketing
for good or bad, yes.
Right. Having a marketing background, I presume that comes in handy to try and invent yourself as a virtual thing.
Yeah, a virtual waifu. I'm not really sure. Like, marketing is so weird. Like, I could market the shit out of any brand, pardon my language, or like anything that I fall in love with. But like when I'm like, hey, follow me, I'm like, oh, look at me, I'm a mess. Yeah, I'll do something today. But
right.
It's a little bit harder because it's like, even if you have all that confidence and you're like all full of yourself, it's hard to like say, why do other people want to buy you?
Mm-hmm. You're pounding your chest and saying me.
Yeah.
I found that to be a difficult proposition too, when you actually go out there. I mean, we want to, when we won awards this year in London, we won a gold medal, we won a silver medal, just jumping out there and pounding my chest and going, guys, we did this thing. Holy shit. I was much better at it by that point. But a couple of years ago, it was just like, I was hoping somebody else would mention it.
Yeah.
And nobody
You're like,
else
hey, you just tag me or do something. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what we've discovered over the last six or 7 months, with the whole online virtual channels being flooded with entertainers who've lost their venues, comics who've lost their stand-up, distillers who've lost their liquor stores and bars, and restaurants who've lost their dining rooms, like everybody flooding onto the online space. It's just, you got to figure out a way to stand out and
Yep.
be a louder or more interesting noise, I guess, for people to
Yeah.
pay attention to.
Yeah.
I mean, dog videos are one thing, but you know.
You're just like a really bad pop-up ad. That's what you have to become.
Well, yeah, I think you're right. You absolutely need to be one of those irritating, annoying little things that just continuously pops up on somebody's screen until they just relent and finally either go to the store or go to your Patreon page or your OnlyFans page or your YouTube channel or whatever it is that you're irritating the crap out of people to go to be the
Yep.
thing. So we'll start with the cosplay stuff. In the before the apocalypse, there were conventions and I guess they're called cons. They're not called conventions. The Comic Cons
Yep.
and uh, places to be seen and to do stuff and go
Yes.
places. Back in the before time when we could still see people, was that
Yes.
was that an opportunity? Was that a hobby space for you, or was that a business space for you, or was it a little bit of both?
So it started as a hobby,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
So like it started as a hobby. I used to just go to New York Comic Con with some friends for fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then one year I did a poison ivy that ended up in Time Magazine and the cover of Daily News and in Vice. And I was like, okay, now what? And I just kind of got thrown into it. And then someone else that at the time was pretty close was like, hey, this is what you should do with it. You should start con traveling and go around and see if you can make a career out of it. And I was like, okay, I didn't know that was a thing, but
Mm-hmm.
all right. So then I just started going to other conventions and I kept making, like, every convention I had to have a new costume. I didn't want to do the same costume. So I just had piles and piles of costumes where most people just take one costume and then they go everywhere. And I was
Sure.
like, no, I'm just going to do one costume per con and get as many photos and things like that and just have something new and exciting. Because I don't know, whenever I make a costume, I'm kind of like, I wear it and then I do it and then I'm like, okay, it's done. I did it. And it was fun to wear that time. And now I want to do something else.
Well, that makes sense.
Where other people are like, here's my costume and I'm going to do this one it's a fan favorite.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to promote it more.
Yeah, I've seen some of that
I
on
don't
both.
know. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I've seen some of that on both sides where that's a character and they develop their character and they get into the character and that's them, the thing they do and modifications and themes on the
Mm-hmm.
same outfit, versus just being different every time and exploring the whole I don't,
Realm of the
realm. I was going to
nerdy
say
universe.
nerdscape.
Yes.
I was looking for a better term
Yes,
than nerdscape.
nerdscape works too. I said nerd universe, but yes.
I was looking for a better term. Realm is perfect. Nerdscape works as well.
Yeah.
Because I say it with love.
So I
These are
would
my
just,
people. I love
I know,
them.
it is love. It is all love. It is all love. Completely. But I don't know. So I just started kind of using it as, I guess you would say, branding, getting
Mhm.
myself out there. So it was just like, oh, I'm going to be at this convention and I just want to go and hang out with people, but this is what I'm going to be wearing. And so you get more people to notice you and then they tag you in photos and you get 2 photos and have people tag. So I didn't really focus on creating content for myself. Like I had to, during the whole COVID scene, I had to learn how to shoot my own photos. And now I'm shooting my own photos and now I'm editing my own photos,
Ooh.
which is insane. It's still on my phone because I don't know how to use a digital camera. Like I was in photography when I was like in high school and I learned when I was little too. And I did black and white photography. So where you'd sit there in the dark room and do all that. So then digital cameras and stuff, I'm like, that's okay. You do that. That's not as fun. I want the chemical smell. So,
Right.
So I used to have all my photographers that I could just like, fly out to LA and do a photo shoot. Or I have a photographer here in Chicago, but we hadn't been able to meet up at all because of COVID. So it was like, all right, well, now I get to do my own. So it's been a crazy.
Open up your computer and do a Zoom or FaceTime meeting or a Google Meet, and then they could take the pictures through like of you on the screen.
Right, that's what
Like
I was thinking. Like you could
that
just
would
do
totally work, right?
videos and then just like freeze frame, clip it, edit it,
That
add
totally
some
works
green
remotely.
screen. It's
Sure.
totally, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it could work.
Or you're in the park and they've got a telephoto lens and they're up in the tree, like
That's what I was saying,
a quarter of a mile away.
complete 6 feet
Yeah,
away,
that's not creepy at
masks,
all.
completely only do Spider-Man and anime characters. Anyone that can wear a mask, you can do that. Anything else, you're not allowed to cosplay.
No, there you go. So,
Which is what I'm wondering what they're going to do with LA Comic-Con. Are they going to allow people to just come in without?
is that still?
Yeah, they're
still on the
wanting
schedule?
to. Yep, they're wanting to open LA Comic-Con this winter, which just doesn't seem.
Well,
I don't know. People forget deodorant. Like I love everyone, but like people forget deodorant. So I don't know if everybody's going to remember a mask.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess if they use that same costume every time, that could get cheesy.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe only have it a Spider-Man convention. That would at least everybody then would have a mask. You'd have like the cool dances. I feel like that would be good.
I think there'd be a lot of Banes this year.
Banes would be good too. Yeah. Oh, Scarecrow. We could do Scarecrow.
Sure.
Anything Mad Max. Just take whatever character you want to be, change it to like a Mad Max theme and like have the mask or steampunk theme.
That could work. Yeah.
I think that's
Any kind of post-apocalyptic costume would just be square on, spot on, perfect for stuff like this.
Or furries. We can do furries.
Speaking of missing deodorant, oh man, I've heard stories of those costumes, of just the cheese factories inside those things.
Oh yeah.
Yikes.
It's sometimes you walk by some people and you're just like, geez, but you have to think about it though. Like I have no hate towards it, but they're walking around a convention that's just like completely packed. And if it's like one of the ones in California or in Florida, it's probably hot as hell.
Oh yeah.
Or even Texas, right?
The one they have down here in Houston is done in like
May,
or used to be done in May. I'm not sure when the next one will be, but good Lord.
Yeah. So you're just sweating bull. And then especially, in Dragon Con, oh my God, because of the humidity. I don't know how the humidity is.
Dragon Con, which one's that one? Where's that one at?
It's in Atlanta.
Okay.
So the humidity down there just makes it even worse. And then it's a drinking convention, so but
there was one that I accidentally ended up in, and I think it was in St. Louis.
Okay.
I was there for another business trip, and it was the same weekend. And now I was leaving when everybody was showing up, and I had drinks that night with 4 Indiana Joneses and a guy who was on a cloud, standing on one of those little.
So Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Standing on one of those things. So it was a cool night, sitting there drinking with 4 Indiana Joneses and a Dragon Ball Z dude. That was a fun night.
That's the best, yeah.
Very disappointed that I was leaving the next day. I was hoping that I could stick around for another 12 hours and just have one more night. You should have.
Just change your flight. Just get it going.
Yeah. Man.
They're fun.
Next time.
Cons are always a blast. And then honestly, like, but just like anything, if you're like at a club, if you're drinking the whole time, you start sweating and it just gets gross. And then you smell like alcohol and bad BO. And that's just what happens.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can't stop it.
Yeah. It's just a function of the things. And then, everybody goes upstairs and showers and it's fine.
Yeah. You shower right after. You don't want to miss any part of the convention. You know how hard it is to put back on the costume.
Oh yeah.
And everything. And like,
especially after you've just showered.
Wig
you're like not
and
quite dry. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the wig and the makeup and it's just.
How long does it take to make one of those costumes? Because you make a new one for each con. How long does it take to make a brand new one?
It depends on the costume.
That's fair.
It depends. There's some that have taken me forever, like my Red Sonja. Mm-hmm. And there's
Red
others.
Sonja, man, that is a callback to the 1980s. Ooh.
Yeah. It's. I'm remaking it right now.
That costume took a long time. If my memory serves, that's not a lot to that costume from the show.
You want to sit there and do the chainmail by hand?
Okay, good point.
It's a hot mess.
That's fair. Good point.
And then you get so much back pain because you're just sitting there like this.
Yeah, hunched over with the Yeah.
I think I did it for like almost 3 days. I forgot to eat. I was just sitting there like in a trance.
Right.
It's not fun. But and then like my poison ivy, the one that's not much to it, is actually was a lot of wire and paracord and leaves, and there was dyeing and like welding and twisting and stuff involved. So it doesn't look like much, but there was a lot to that to make it look like real ivy. But then like the ones where I just kind of sew an outfit, I get that done in maybe 3 days.
I got you.
A sewing one.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing any like huge details.
Yeah. And then there's the ones that have the foam that has to be molded and shaped. Do you do a lot of that where it has to be actually?
I've only ever done one. One armor build, and I did Daisy from Mario. So we did like Mario Princess group, and we were the warrior one. So that was really cool. But that foam it didn't take as long because it wasn't much to it. It was just kind of like a breastplate and shin guards and stuff. But some of the other ones that you watch people do, they'll spend weeks or months on it. And I would love to get into building that hardcore. I haven't figured out one that I want to build yet. So my biggest cosplay goal was building Witchblade.
Oh.
And I did that, and I made it, and it took me maybe 2 weeks to do, just because I had to figure out what I was going to make it out of and then go and buy all the supplies and stuff. And it was made out of cotton balls, latex, and a vacuum hose.
A vacuum hose, of course.
Yeah.
The ingenuity of actually molding the pieces to the shape and size of the body for independent, for custom builds like that. I've seen so many videos over like it's just the wrapping yourself with duct tape and then drawing the pieces on the dresser, or the saran wrap and then duct tape and then cutting all the pieces out, and I'm looking at that like that makes so much sense. Way better than like just trying to measure your arm and saying, okay, it's about this big around and cutting stuff. And y'all are way smarter than I am, clearly.
It's so cool to watch people do that, and I'm like, I'm going to do that at some point. But I mean, we have no conventions so far, so I'm like, I don't want to just build it and have it in my house and just be like, yes, this is mine.
Just a closet full of like Iron Man armors.
Yeah, like I have not made any new cosplays, and I feel like I'm failing at life, but like I don't have any conventions to go to, and I've always made cosplays for conventions, not really just for like, oh, here I want to shoot it and then I'm done, because I just don't see a point in that. Even though like I understand it and I understand its content, but I'm like, no, I want to go take it out and I want to be like, hey, look at the details.
Sure. Well, yeah, but now that's exactly what it is. It's content. You can go through the whole, here's the helmet, here's the breastplate, here's the bracers, whatever they're called in the arm. You can like just progress through the whole thing.
With building it, yeah.
And it becomes a whole series of content, and watching that sort of thing come together is just freaking fascinating. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's totally unbelievable because I've seen it.
No, I completely agree, but I'd still be upset that I couldn't wear it anywhere. I mean, I don't know if I want to walk down the middle of Chicago in my like armor. I might.
What else are you gonna do in Chicago? You might as well. You can't go to any bars or clubs.
No, I know. I'm just like, yeah, take my dogs to the dog park. That's about it.
Yeah. Look, there's Poison Ivy with her dog.
I actually am working. That is one that I am slowly working on, and it's like apocalyptic Poison Ivy that I've been slowly tinkering with. I was hoping New York Comic Con would still be going, and then when it was canceled, I was like, yeah, it's probably good. So
what are your favorite cons?
It's a slow process. New York Comic Con has my heart, and then Anime Expo is probably my second favorite.
And that one's where?
Anime Expo is in LA.
Okay.
San Diego Comic Con is really fun, but it's a mess.
That's huge.
And it's just a mess. Like if you're gonna go, don't go for collector's stuff. Don't go for any of that, because you're gonna miss the whole convention. Like you're actually just gonna miss having fun. There's so many things outside that you don't actually need a pass for, and people line up at 2 a.m. or at 9 p.m. the day before to camp out to get the collector's stuff. And I'm just like, it's such a waste of like, I get it. I understand it. I understand it from a collector standpoint. I completely understand it. But like, there's so much more to it, and you're
Yeah.
missing out on everything, you
Yeah.
know?
See, I get I used to, back when I was a younger boy, way before I was a man, I collected comic books, and I've got this box of comic books in my closet that's probably worth, $1,500 or so, because that's just
Hmm.
like what I did. I went and the first run comic came out, and I'd go buy six of them or whatever,
Hmm.
knowing full well that the number one Spider-Man was going to be worth something, so I'd get every edition of it that I could find.
Yeah.
Uh, but now I think about it, like they're just sitting in my closet, like
I know they're not
my
bringing joy to
my
anyone.
sons could, like, I've got almost geez, 100 and something, uh 100 and something comic books from the Thor series. It'd be, probably entertaining for my kids. I should probably give them those at some point.
Yeah, maybe.
That
And
would
then
be
it's just kind of like,
that would be kind.
don't bend the pages,
Yeah,
don't, yeah.
here, you can look at this one. You're doing it
Yeah.
wrong. No.
Yeah, I unloaded all of my comics when I was moving, and I've moved so much just out of, I guess, sheer boredom, but I'm like, I'll move and I'm like, well, I don't want to lug all this stuff with me,
Yeah.
So I'll give it to people, or I'll give people things that I'm like, oh, I know that this will bring you joy,
Hmm.
or I know that you'll find something more fun to do with this, or whatever. But I gave all my comics to my brother when I left Colorado. I was like, here, these are yours. Have fun. Enjoy. Welcome to nerd culture. So,
Yeah, I've got a whole wall full of boxes here that we moved from our last house to this house, and I'm pretty sure those were in the same boxes when we moved into our last house. And
right.
it's somewhat demoralizing when you finally get around to moving and you're looking at the wall of boxes and you're like, oh shit, I got to move these again. I
Yeah,
should probably get rid of them, but I can't bring myself to get rid of all my crap. Uh, I would
I
much
get
rather.
it.
I would if it weren't for all those people that I live with, I would live in a much smaller house.
You just want to light everything on fire and walk away.
Yeah,
You're
but
just like, yeah, we're good.
the like most things on fire. Like my
Yes,
my wife and
most.
kids would not appreciate being
No,
lit
no,
on
no.
fire. Neither would the
They come
dog and
with
the cat.
you. Right. Animals, family members, those come out. The
Come on, get
rest
out
can just
get out of the
burn.
pile, guys. Come on. But yeah, but yeah, there was a brief fantasy period in there that I lived, and I was just like, if we can move into an even smaller house, and I talked my wife into a smaller house, and I tried to talk her into an even smaller house, and she's like, nope, we're moving into it. The kids are getting older, they're having their friends over, we need to move into a bigger house. Like, fine. So I relented, and we went the other way. But boy, when I was moving into that smaller house, the bank looked at us and like, why are you moving into a smaller house? People don't normally do that. And I was just like, we don't need. Anyway, but
No,
that's a whole nother.
yeah. No, I completely get it, because I went from a studio apartment to a one bedroom apartment. And then I went from, like, in New York. So I went from, like, it was literally, it was like 400 square feet,
Right.
345 square feet of usable space,
The
honestly.
apartment in New York is the size of my office right here. I know how big it
Well,
is.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was, ooh.
So it's
But
my studio.
I loved it. It was the best. And
Hmm.
I had, like, such a good view. And then I moved to a one bedroom because I was like, oh, I need more room. And then I finally was like, I had a couch, and that was like a pull out bed. And so I had that. And then I decided, oh, well, now I can have a bed. Right. So then I got that. And then when I moved to Vegas, I ended up having, it was like 1,200 square foot. And it was
Oh my God, that's like a palace.
half the price of, yeah, half the price of my place in New York.
Yeah.
And people would come over, and I had no furniture, and I was just like, yes, I am a homeless person. Like, I don't know what. So then I moved here, and now I'm like, I have this room, which I have set up as kind of like my closet, and then all my cosplay stuff, and then computer and everything. And then I have another bedroom that's about the same size that I just made into a gym since COVID.
Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the living room, I never have people over. So I just turn the living room into the king size bedroom. And my dogs love it because they can spy on the neighbors and bark at them.
Awesome.
And then there's like the little kitchen. I was like, this is okay, but it's still too big for me.
Mm-hmm.
I could still downsize to like a tiny one bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah. See, I had this fantasy of like living in a little Unabomber shack on a 5-acre chunk of land. And
Tiny homes.
yeah, and when I'm explaining this to my lovely wife, she's looking at me like I'm speaking German or something. And I don't know German well enough to be able to speak it. So it's the perfect analogy because she'd be looking at me like I'm just speaking nonsense in a German accent. Um, so yeah, that obviously didn't happen.
But like when you have a smaller place, like if someone robs you, like God forbid,
Oh
you're just
yes.
kind of like, oh,
Well,
well,
I guess I'll just go replace
whatever.
those pots and pans then.
Right. But then if they rob your home and it's like a large house, then you're like, wow, I lost a lot of stuff.
Right.
I
But
need to
they could
replace a lot of
literally
stuff.
steal stuff out of the house and you not know it for a couple of months because you never go in that room.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some around the way and down the road there's some houses like that. I'm like, honey, we could just move in here and just live on this side of the house and they'd never know.
No, they wouldn't know. Just live into. Have you
We just
seen Parasite?
be quiet and it's awesome. Have I seen Parasite? I've seen the animated Parasite, not the live action Parasite. There's an
The
animated series, Parasite, and I've
okay.
seen parts of that, a couple of
I
episodes of that until it freaked me
don't know
out too
if I
much.
see that.
I haven't seen the live action one, not yet.
The new movie, yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know
it.
if
The
it's the
new movie.
same.
That's how it's described. An actual movie.
Well, I don't know if it's. I don't know if it's based off the same
I don't think they're related.
premise. No.
I don't think they're
Yeah.
related at all.
So would it be live action? It'd be an actual
The
movie.
cartoon. One of my friends down here in town voiced the father in the cartoon. Rob
Okay.
Bungle was the voice of the father in the cartoon.
Okay.
He was on our 40 something, 30 something show, 38, 42, 42. He was episode 42. But
I'm
he's
gonna
a
have to look it up because
yeah,
I feel like I've heard of it, but I've never seen it.
he's a local comic voice actor. Has like a trillion different credits, mostly in anime, doing the English translation of the Japanese cartoon. And
Okay.
when it's so funny whenever I see him do a character, it's basically just him yelling.
Right. Yeah.
Like
Just
that's
his
Rob.
voice, just a little pitch. Yeah.
Not even a little, just
No,
like
not even.
barely any inflection or change whatsoever. He's just like
That's funny.
Rob. It cracks me up.
That's funny.
But he's a super talented comedian, and thanks to COVID, he is now coming out of retirement and moving back to the stage later this year when we get stages again. It'll be awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
But that's enough about Rob. Let's talk more about you. You do.
Okay.
Tell me about what you do on Twitch.
Sometimes we play games.
Everything.
Yes, no. Sometimes we play games.
Okay,
It just depends.
Let me steer it a little bit more specifically. Tell me about your cooking on the YouTube.
Oh, my cooking.
Yeah.
My hot mess cooking. So I cook. I do.
That's a great way to
I bake.
describe it.
I bake. I love baking, and I need to get back on that.
Baking
I took a hiatus for a second.
Baking like food, people.
Yes, food. I like food.
The marijuana episode was the last episode. This is
yeah,
the food
no,
episode.
I'm good on the marijuana. I have so much ADD. I feel like that stuff is just going to paranoid the crap out of me. But I just yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it would ever calm me down. I feel like it'd just be like.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I bake like shitty food, but it's like amazing shitty food because it's like the best food you'll ever have, but it's like cookies and cakes and pies and just things that are not good for you technically.
Sure.
Right? They're good for your endorphins, but nothing else. So right. I like doing that. And then I don't know. It's not a clean setup. It's like my pots are.
It's like normal people cooking.
It's normal people cooking. Everybody gets so mad at me. They're like, your pot's dirty. You're going to give people evil. I'm like, my pot is burned because I love it. And it is like
I'm not making this for anybody else. This is my cake.
I'm like, if you want to watch me lick the spoon, I'll put that in there too. That's fine. It's not like I'm sharing this with you. This
cake isn't going to poison anybody. I'm eating the whole damn thing right next.
Yeah. So it started as I make bread or I make cookies and stuff like that. And it started with me on Twitch. And I do a lot of just chatting and we just talk about random things that happen or we go on tangents or a lot of times we'll go on rabbit holes, like sorting. Yeah, this is my life. What did we do? We sorted like Catholic saints
Oh, nice.
into Hogwarts houses. That's what we did.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's deliciously
then we
sacrilegious.
tried,
Perfect.
right, and then we were trying to figure out
Let's sort God's holy soldiers
if you
into
got your
these
boobs done.
fictitious witchcraft houses.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Okay,
so
and
we
then
got our
like
boobs
if you got
done.
your
What?
boobs done, right? If you have fake boobs, I have fake boobs, and
Mine
I
are
wanted
real.
to know if I got turned. Oh, see, you're lucky. I was not blessed, but like if I got turned into a vampire, like what would happen to them, right? Because they just dissolve, right? Or does your body just kind of like flatten them, or can you cut them out, or do they start molding? Like I had all these questions, and like
You mean
if
like
you
they
turn into a
outlive your
bat,
body
do you just
because
have
you don't
like
age?
tits on your bat? Like, huh?
Is it like they outlive your body because you don't age and eventually?
No,
like,
your
they rot
body's
out?
gonna outlive.
Oh, right. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Right. So like they would probably dissolve inside or something. Yeah.
I think
Or
you'd
like
eventually
would the
have to.
skin harden and stay hardened like this? Or could you cut them out? And how would you cut them out? Would you like rub garlic on it and then use like a wooden stake, like, or silver? Like I don't, so we were trying to discuss and figure out, why, like what would happen. And then also if you turn into a bat, like in some vampires, are you now a bat with big boobs? Like is it just like these huge knockers and like flying wings behind it? Like these are some serious questions I have in my brain.
I'm picturing them looking like those truck nuts behind a pickup truck, just hanging down behind the bat.
Or it's like, or you don't even see anything. It's just like you see wings on a set of tits. Like these are serious questions in my brain that I just don't have the answers to. So what I do, or like random conspiracy theories, like these are, or my favorite one that no one has ever asked, like been able to answer is, what time do you feed gremlins?
Right, because you can't feed them after midnight, but they don't tell you when you can feed them before.
Right, and then can you do it at 12:01? Or what time zone are they on?
Exactly. There's
if you fly with them,
there are all kinds of questions that are an issue.
There's so many holes in that story. How do they bathe? Do they bathe in dust like chinchillas? Are they allowed to have soda? Because they can't have water.
Right.
But like soda has water in it, or
and
is it just juice? Like
water.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So like what do you give them to drink? I mean, and then can they eat watermelon?
And
watermelon has water in it.
Like, can they live like in Florida? It's humid. There's water literally in the air. Can they live in Florida?
You don't know. Like, these are questions that they never told us.
So many questions in Gremlins.
No one's able to answer me. Oh, yeah. So I'm always like very confused.
What the hell is up with that old lady? Why is she such a crotchety old bitch? And she just hates that kid's dog. And the chick whose dad dies in the chimney, and then she's just like,
that was actually kind of hilarious.
Right.
But...
and then she just shrugs her shoulders and says, so yeah, that's why we don't like Christmas. So what are you doing for dinner? And it's just like it's done. It's just a one sentence, and she breathes and moves on. It's like,
it's the best Christmas movie though ever. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we watch it again and again.
I watch it every Christmas. Yeah,
we watched it 3 times since the apocalypse started.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
When are they gonna show up? We need, like, all these little apocalypse monsters need to start coming out of the woodwork. I would like to have one. Just saying.
Yeah.
But like, but these are things we talk about on my Twitch channel when I'm on it, and then we'll randomly get into Minecraft and we'll see how many chickens I can create. Because I don't before the server freezes.
On the computer. Not on the console. Yeah.
No, yeah, before the server freezes.
Yeah, so we're very limited.
But I just hooked up my PlayStation. I found my capture card. I found the right HDMI cables, and I found where I put my PlayStation. And so now I have it all set up now. So now I get to do that. But so I'm gonna be back on Twitch soon. But it started as that, and then I was like, oh, I have to make bread, and they're like, well, just make it on here, and I'm like, okay. So I'm like sitting here kneading dough while talking about Gremlins. Like, it was just, it became like a hot mess, and then people started asking. I did do the sourdough. I have like the cultures and all that stuff.
Of course.
I've been actually trying to do sourdough for years, so you know, it wasn't this whole thing.
It all worked.
It wasn't the apocalypse. It was just now I actually had time to pay attention to it.
Well,
so that's, you know, that helped.
It works out.
But like, you know, cookies and stuff, I'd just be like baking them on like making the dough and everything on Twitch while I'm doing it. And we'd just be having a discussion. And then people were like, hey, can you give me the recipe? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And I do really simple recipes.
For $500, go visit my Patreon.
Yeah, no. I shut
Only
that
subs
down.
get the recipe.
OnlyFans.
Oh, OnlyFans. Good.
Yes. Better payout. Less, you know.
Go to Only. Speaking of which, well, we'll talk about that in a minute.
But yeah, that's how the cooking thing started. It was just it was just me being dumb.
Yeah. I kind of have a feeling though, the bat wings with a couple of boobs has got to have been a heavy metal band's emblem at some point.
I want to see if it has been, because it should be. It sounds like it could be.
Boobs and bat wings, and it's like death bat or something like that, or titmouse or titmouse bat. I don't know. That sounds like it should have been a band's emblem, like it goes on the back of a T-shirt or something. And
I think we should just start a band.
It goes on the front of the T-shirt.
That'll
and then
be
on the back. It just has
and
tour
then
dates.
It'll just and then we'll just have it,
tour.
And then we'll send it, and then everybody will buy it, and then we'll just be like, our band's breaking up because of
that would
differences.
Be so awesome.
And our differences are we were debating on boob size.
Yeah, we were never really a band.
Yes. Don't tell anybody.
The difference is the artistic.
You need to stop telling people this. You have to just be like, yeah, no.
No, we really do exist. No, we don't. We don't exist. We do exist. No, wait, what? And then just they explode in a paradox.
Okay, that works. Yeah.
that would be a funny as hell set of T-shirts.
Can it be sponsored by your whiskey?
Yeah, I was gonna say
our band's tour is sponsored by your whiskey.
The world tour sponsored by Old Humble Distilling Company.
Yes.
And like 25 dates in London and in Paris and Moscow and Tokyo and New York and LA and just like the whole list of it. And then, yeah, god damn.
Please comment below if you think that this is something. This is a shirt that you want. Comment below and we will get it out.
Yeah, we
will put it together.
The tit bat. That's it.
Tit bat.
You can't do titmouse because is taken.
But it's got to have the LUV. Love tit bat.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. LUV tit bat.
Yes, I like it.
The double D.
And then with like a bloody XOXO.
Of course. Yes. Okay, I'll have to. I can't find my pen. Oh, there's one. I knew I had one around here.
Do you want me to write it down?
I'm writing it down now.
I have a whiteboard somewhere.
Tit bat world tour. There we go.
T-shirts, band shirts.
LUV. Yeah, perfect. There it is, written down.
Okay, we got to get this out. It'll be amazing.
It's so ridiculously dumb and awesome. I love it. Okay, so there was a little kerfluffle about the OnlyFans stuff. About a month ago, when the little Disney starlet decided to screw up the entire matrix.
A hot mess, yes.
Did that like completely? Was it as big a deal to y'all, the content creators and performers, as it sounded like it should have been?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was huge. What she did, so she told everybody, she was like, oh, come watch my OnlyFans. Cool. Awesome. Mm-hmm. Yay.
She got a whole bunch of subscribers all of a sudden because
I was like, that's cool. I think she's hot. It's fine.
She's a pretty and famous Disney actress, and everybody was like, yeah, I want to see what she has to say.
I support her. I'm all for anybody who wants to explore that side of their personality or do whatever, join it. The problem is that she joined it. She told people she was doing nudes. Mm-hmm. She sent out a pay-per-view message for like $200 or something like that for everyone that said that she was naked. And people were asking, are you naked? And she's like, oh, yeah. And people bought it. And she scammed them out of the money.
Right. She withdrew the money out of the account. And then
she withdrew all the money out of the account. She had made like over $2 million. She withdrew all the money. She had scammed them by telling them it was nudes when it wasn't nudes. Anybody else would be in jail for fraud.
Yeah.
So, I don't understand how there was not a lawsuit towards her.
Was that did she actually do the video? Just wasn't nude, or there just no video at all?
She didn't do any nudes. It was the same stuff that she had been posting on her Instagram.
So she did the video. It just wasn't the nude video that she promised.
Yeah, it wasn't nude at all.
And then the big issue came when everybody was demanding refunds, and OnlyFans didn't have the cash to do it because she had already
Right.
withdrawn them. Yeah.
Yep. And so it took, people couldn't get their money. Other creators weren't allowed to withdraw their money because OnlyFans was using their money to pay off what
Classic run on the bank.
she had stolen from the company.
Yeah. Classic run on the bank.
So
all the money's gone and everybody's trying to get it out. Yeah.
Yep.
So
and
then
then they
changed the rules.
it so that you can't. They changed the rules. So people who used to be able to withdraw whenever now can only withdraw once a month. Mine is set to automatic for 2 weeks. So it stayed, thank goodness. But a lot of people who live off of that and they're like, okay, I made this much this week and now I'm going to withdraw it so that I can pay my bills. Now they can only withdraw once a month. That's a big issue for a lot of people in America.
Yeah, that's a real challenge.
And then
you not only have rent to pay at the beginning of the month, you have groceries to pay on the 15th and 10th, and you know, people generally eat 2 or 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Which makes it challenging when you only get paid on the first.
I know. So if you can't pull out your money, right, then, and you have no access to it, then if you don't have much savings, it's going to be really hard for you, you know? And then people, so I feel really bad for like a lot of the sex workers that have been using that platform for years. And I do more, you know, burlesque stuff than anything else, but they're using it and they're saying, oh, okay, well, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, super triple X stuff, and I'm going to charge you so much for this pay-per-view. And so now they send it out and they're like, okay, well, now you have to pay me like $500 for this or whatever. And I don't remember what the amount is. I can look it up, but the OnlyFans changed it. So now there's a cap on that. So now you can only charge, I think, up to $100 for pay-per-view. And you can only tip up to 50 or something. Don't quote me on that because I'm going to have to, I'd have to get on my OnlyFans.
The moral is they dropped the price for pay-per-view, the maximum. They put a cap on the pay-per-view and dropped the maximum tip amount. Basically,
because of what she
putting
did.
guardrails around the operation,
which is horrible because there's people that were just like were selling what they told they were selling and doing X, Y, and Z and should definitely be paid way more than, you know, someone who's just doing like bikini photos.
Right.
You know,
and for professional performers who do this, well, like professional performers, period, it's not all sex stuff. It was a platform for.
It started as a platform for sex,
but it wasn't just a platform for sex performers. It's a platform for all kinds of stuff. For artists and performers to connect with their fans in a direct manner, and to kind of shackle their ability.
Well, that's how it's becoming,
right, and to shackle their ability to be able to actually get paid what they're worth, or what their patrons think they're worth. You know, to have a cap on it, that's got to be frustrating for the performers themselves, especially in a world where you can't just go and do whatever
they're worth. You know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That sucks. So
and OnlyFans, I always, you know, I feel really bad for like, because like they're with a lot of the laws, whether you like them or not, they changed a bunch of them and took away like the back page and all these things that were like safe for girls to use.
Sure. Yeah.
And so OnlyFans is kind of their safe haven. So they didn't, when they took it down because they were trying to protect sex trafficking or keep sex trafficking from happening, which I completely understand and I'm all for it. It just also destroyed, they did it the wrong way where they kind of started destroying people that actually this was their livelihood and it wasn't really, it's a fine line that they got to walk, and you can't really walk it unless you're in that industry or around it, I think. But
did you freeze? I think you've. I guess it's really good that the handful of really old senators made those decisions.
So those girls all went to OnlyFans to work, and no, free. But yeah.
Yeah. So that all sucks. Hopefully that'll get.
Yes.
Hopefully
it's great.
Hopefully it's. I wasn't sure if it was a temporary situation that had already
you know, they
reverted
used
back
them
to
too.
norm. Say again. What? What was that?
It's not going back to normal.
Yeah, it's still as it is, or as it was. It hasn't. Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't remain permanent. I mean, hopefully they relax those restrictions or relax the rules.
I don't think they will. Or I think
really frustrating.
I don't think they will just because of the lawsuits.
Yeah, I mean, one person throws a wrench into the whole system. Maybe not reverting it back to how it was, but at least reverting it to a way that's a little bit more fair to the performers.
Yeah, they should have just kicked her off the account. They should have just taken her down completely.
That would seem like.
But
she's got pulled.
But publicity is publicity, you know, good or bad. So she definitely put a name for OnlyFans and got more people to join in.
Yeah, very true. And I know I know a lot of performers through the whiskey business that I've got, burlesque performers, comedians, sideshow performers, just the whole general genre. And several of them have gone and taken their acts to the OnlyFans sites.
Mm-hmm.
And they've mentioned it and talked about it, but they like started their site back in June-ish. So it hasn't really, somewhere in that neighborhood, May, June, somewhere in that neighborhood. But so it didn't really impact them because they didn't have a huge community of people who was following them. Wasn't their primary. It became their primary income source thanks to the apocalypse, but it wasn't always the primary driver of their rent payment, so to speak.
Right.
And I would presume that it would be more. And plus, subscribing to your friends' OnlyFans sites, I haven't been willing to pull the trigger on that quite yet.
It's okay.
It'd be like seeing my my best friend from high school, seeing her daughter in a Playboy. That'd be weird.
Yeah. I get it. I completely get it.
You like go into the lunchroom and all the guys are there like, oh, check her out, and you go over there and looking at her. God damn it, that's Jennifer. Shit.
So funny story.
I know that girl. Damn it.
So funny. My dad was at work and my poster was hanging in a guy's locker room, like in his locker. And he was like, my dad told me, he's like, yeah, he's like, I had to do a double take. He's like, but he's like, I remember the costume because you were building it and you were showing me how you were building it. He's like, but you were in a guy's locker. And I was like, oh, did you tell him? Did you tell him that's my daughter? Just make him uncomfortable. And he's like, nope, just left it. I was like, all right.
God,
I thought it was hilarious.
That's got to be something.
But my dad was like, he was like, that's how I know you made it. I was like,
what magazine was it from? Was it the?
Oh no, it was like one of my cosplay photos. I think it was one of my Poison Ivies or something like that.
Gotcha.
But I was like, that's awesome.
Printed out off the internet or something?
Oh no, probably from Patreon. Like,
okay, fair.
Like signed and kissed and all the fun stuff.
So you sent it? Okay, got it.
Yeah, I sent him, but I didn't. I was like,
that's cool.
I was like, well, what's his name? And my dad's like, I'm not going to tell you his name. And I was like, well, but I want to know if he still follows me or if he subscribes. And my dad's like, no. He's like, we're not getting into this. I was like, all right.
See, that's one of the good things I think about this whole apocalypse thing, where we've had to figure out how to bring our brands to the people, like go around the mediums that kind of filter all this stuff out. We ourselves can't go through the radio. We can't go through TV. We can't go through. Before the apocalypse, we were able to go into the liquor stores and go direct face to face with the people and actually bring our liquor in the best way to get people to try it is to just give them a free sample.
Right. Yeah.
One of my partners here, I always say I like to go to the stores and put my junk in people's mouth, and she's like, "Stop saying that."
But it's true.
But it's true. I put my junk in their mouth and they're really happy and they come back for more. And then they give me money. She's like, stop saying
and then
that.
they pay me to put my junk in their mouth.
I know.
It's the best.
It's the best. And then I do it again. And then they smile.
Yes.
And she's like, stop saying that. Stop it. I'm like, what? I don't what?
You're like, I'm not going to stop saying it. It's true. Go away.
Especially if it makes you do that, because
don't hate you like
funny.
my junk in your mouth too.
Yeah, I know. She all the time. She's like, "Do you have any more of your junk? Can I have it in my mouth?" I'm like, yeah, here's a bottle.
See, there she can't say anything.
They keep coming back for more. In fact, I did a little promotion thing with Instagram whiskey samplers, whiskey influence. I don't know if they're influencers. I don't know if they count as influencers, but they were whiskey samplers and tasters, and they do the whiskey notes and all the stuff. And I did a big thing like, put my junk in your mouth and tell me what you think.
Yes.
And we got like 6 people. Like, yeah, send me a bottle. I'm like, sure. So there we go. So it went all over the country.
That's awesome.
And Canada. It was awesome.
That's so cool.
What was I saying before I wandered down this weird rabbit hole? So before the apocalypse, we were able to do stuff like that. And then all of that stuff goes away. And now we have to reimagine how our business works and how we can get the word out. And that was one of the reasons why I started the happy hour, was because I needed something to do to talk about my whiskey. And then for the first several episodes, it was just cocktails and my lovely wife, and we were talking about travel and all the stuff that we couldn't do anymore. And then, I started getting the idea of having more interesting people than me coming on the show, because she got tired of listening to me talk about it. She had other stuff to do.
She's like, bye.
Like, are you going to go do your show? Can I have some time to myself? Yes.
Yeah, right.
Perfect. So that's when I started having guests, and thank you for coming on the show, because you're awesome.
Yeah, of course.
A super fantastic.
I was excited.
Interesting and fun guest to have. But this whole thing, starting the Patreons, or putting more energy into the Patreons, putting more energy into the OnlyFans, putting more energy into the Twitter channels and YouTube channels and Instagram channels, all the the traditional social stuff. Where do you think it goes from here after we do, after we start going back to relatively normal life in April or May or whenever it is next year? I assume a lot of these channels are going to kind of drop off the side, or we're just going to have to figure out a new way to do it. I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch of empty OnlyFans pages.
Definitely.
Where, people end up going back.
Maybe they might have been let go because of their OnlyFans. So you never know. Also, I mean, I know some girls that are looking at it and they're like, I'm making more than I do with my degree. Right? So I'm staying on this.
I was thinking of, I've given it some serious thought. I'm just doing foot pics, because
do it.
A bottle of whiskey and my feet. That's it. This is the only 2 things, just bottle of whiskey and my feet.
Do it. And if they tip, like, if they tip over $1,000, then you'll send them like a shooter that has like
I'll send you a shot glass that had my toe in it.
Yes. Ooh. Yes. I think that could sell. You don't know.
I don't. I really don't know.
People sell the weirdest things on Craigslist. I'm always laughing.
I know. It's like I saw a houseboat for sale that the engines didn't work. It said the horsepower for the engines was 0. It's people powered. I was like, that's a ballsy move. You're selling a boat that doesn't even run. And it was just basically, the ad said it'd be great for an Airbnb. I'm like, okay.
That's true. They couldn't steal it.
I'm going to sell this thing that doesn't work, and it'll just sit there on the lake near my house.
You have a lake behind your house?
No, it's like
put it on
15 miles down the road. But yeah, if you had a lake by your house, it'd be perfect. Or you put it in the pool.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. And once a year, it kind of floods.
It's an experience.
It kind of floods around here once a year, so we can have that out here once a year.
Right. Yeah.
We dodged the bullet.
It's all about how you market it. It's all about that.
We dodged the bullet this year. We didn't have a hurricane or tropical storm flood us out this year. We just had everybody dying from the apocalypse. Yeah.
I'm wondering how Chicago is going to be, if it's going to be the negative 50 degrees again, or if it's going to be like a mild winter. Because like last year was mild, and then the year before it was negative 50.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Negative 50. That's crazy.
With a wind chill, yeah.
I can't even, like, cold here is 50. Like, it's literally 100 degrees warmer than that when it is cold.
my poor body just like changed to Vegas status, and now I got here, and it's for the last year and a half. As soon as it hits 60, I'm like, it's time for the heaters and the blankets, and I'm done.
Yeah. I mean, our summer just basically broke here, and we've gone from high 90s down to high 80s, and this is why we live in Houston for like these 4 weeks uh, before it gets cold and drops below 70 degrees. It is
Yeah.
man, it is beautiful here now. And in the springtime, when it's the same temperature, it's cold in the morning. It's like jacket weather in the morning, and then in the afternoon, it's not. And then you if you go camping in the springtime, you got to bundle up, and it's
Hmm.
just nice. And then in the springtime, that gives way to just the surface of the sun heat, the kind of heat that you feel when you open up your oven, and it just like
Yep.
billows out. It just hits you in the face. Uh,
Yep. That was like Vegas.
yeah,
Well, except for you didn't have the humidity, so you wouldn't sweat unless you moved.
right,
Like
right.
if you were just standing outside, you'd be totally fine. But as soon as you start walking, you're just done.
That makes sense.
So
Yeah, and we were in where were we? We were in Arizona the week before the apocalypse started here.
okay.
So we were on spring break at the beginning of March, and it was we were in Flagstaff when we found out, and it snowed that week. We found out that schools were closing before we came home, so we took an extra 2 days on the road. Uh, and it was, I mean, it was really, 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 really fantastically nice being up in the mountains where it was still snowing and it was still nice and cold.
Yeah.
And then we came back to home, and 3 months later, it was like 1,000 degrees and humid as hell. Nice times, great times, great times.
It's great. It's perfect.
So where do you go from here as far as the apocalypse and post-apocalyptic Sydney Marie is, or LUVSydneyMarie, the post-apocalyptic you? Where do you go from here? Still doing a baking show? Still
Oh
doing
yeah. I'm
um,
still gonna do it. I dropped the ball on it a bit ago because I so my I'm an OCD perfectionist person, which
mhm,
is good and bad. I should be medicated. It's what my doctor tells me. But
okay,
so I was making them and I really like the way that they're coming out, but I kind of want to make it a little bit more catchy. So I started re-editing like the way that I want to do it
okay,
and with the voiceovers and stuff because voiceovers are great. They're me not commandeering,
commentating.
commentating, yes. Commentating on my videos is fun, but it's nice to actually hear the person's voice a little bit and see them talk in the video as well.
Sure,
So I was trying to like refigure out how to do that. So gotta start back on that. But
sure,
Twitch should be back up and running this week.
okay,
I literally took a hiatus from everything to just try to focus and figure out what I was doing with my life for like 2 weeks. I had some health issues too, but
gotcha.
that's another thing. That was not COVID, so don't worry. So I was
Perfectly,
like,
perfectly fair.
yeah.
Um,
But I'm probably just gonna stay on this whole hot mess of me.
mhm.
I'm having way more fun doing this than I was ever doing in like real work, you
I
know?
know this
And
has been amazing.
like real work is great. Like I worked in marketing with like clubs and strip clubs and all sorts of stuff.
Hmm.
But and they're fun. They're hilarious to see people at and they're a blast, but I don't know if I want to do that anymore.
Hmm.
You know, this is something that I can do on my own time. And then like if I wanted to go visit my family, well, granted, I'm gonna end up having to get a hotel because like I went to go visit my dad for his birthday. My parents' house is a dead zone. I swear. Like there is no I don't there was like barely any internet connection. I was having problems with internet, so I wasn't able to upload anything to OnlyFans and then like or my Instagram except for maybe some stories, but then I would like have my brother drive me to like a Starbucks so that I could like do that because I haven't been able to get my ID because of COVID and my
Gotcha.
ID's expired.
Yeah,
That's
last
a
time my driver's license expired, I was in Atlanta. I
yeah.
had flown into Atlanta. and my birthday was the next day, and my driver's license expired that next day, and I was like, shit, now I got to go home. I got to fly home. I've got to go through security with an expired driver's license. Either I'm flying home tomorrow or nobody flies home tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I will make a scene.
It's that licensing. I'm glad I still have my passport, but I can't drive with that.
Yeah, well, you can drive with a passport. You just can't get pulled over with a passport.
That's true. But you can't rent a car with a passport.
Yeah, no, they won't let you rent a car.
No.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, with this whole thing, I can literally travel. I can go live on an island in the middle of nowhere
Yeah,
and
nice.
just like
as long as
still
you have
do
internet
this.
access.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, so it gives you a little bit more freedom to kind of live the way you want to live and enjoy life instead of working to live.
Yeah. See, my old coworkers. See, I started doing the distillery job full time in October of last year. My old coworkers, we had always been clamoring to have more at home time because we had laptops. We could do our work from home as long as we had internet connection. We had the secure internet back to the office. We could all work from home. Starting in February, they were all working from home, and they're loving it now because they're not actually having to go back to the office and interact with uh, that manager who was working there. And they're more productive. They're doing more work. They're not wasting time in the car. They're and I'm just like, see, that's what I always wanted.
Yeah.
Because I spent 2 hours commuting back and forth to work. An hour there and an hour back. I don't know if I ever want to go back to that type of work. I'm so glad that the work that I'm doing with the distillery is actually making it grow to the point where it'll be able to pay me to stay home. Uh, I've never had more fun at work. This is great.
Yeah.
Um, and my former coworkers have never had more fun at work. They for the most part they get most of their work done by noon. They have lunch and then they may have another couple hours of work to do, and then they spend time with their family. How crazy is that?
It's insane. People actually get to live a life and not just work.
Actually realize the benefits of the technology that we've developed over the course of the last 30 years.
It's amazing.
But you have to take your laptop to an office so that you can do work at a place where they have a phone where people have to call you, as opposed
to just freaking stupid.
It's so insanely crazy. Hopefully, businesses learn this shit and they get it all.
I think some of them are going remote.
I mean, there's some that obviously can't. I mean, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't be a
remote doctor.
Yeah, you can't be you can't be a surgeon from home yet.
Yes,
there's robotics. They're working on it.
Yes.
You can't be you can be an accountant from home. You can't be a logistics shelf stocker, whatever. Retail workers, they got to be at the store.
But even that could go away, and it could all just be delivery.
Face-to-face folks, food prep, those guys, you can't do. There's obviously some jobs you can't do from home. I know a forklift operator who's very proud of the fact that he is forklift certified. Hey, Ryan, he can't do his work from home.
No, not yet. Could be virtual.
Because as good as he may be at what he does, he is not allowed to drive a forklift inside his house. So.
I feel like I would want to do that if I had
I totally would want to do that.
I would just drive one down the highway. I'd be like, yeah, I'm certified.
The road outside. Just drive neighbors' houses. Hey, you got anything you need me to lift?
Right? Why not?
You want to lift up to your roof? Because I can do it. Okay, so enough silliness.
I'm not allowed to get drunk with you because I feel like we would end up doing those things.
I think we might.
I drove a golf cart into the middle of a the clubhouse and parked it right by the tables.
Thing to do. It's a golf cart.
Because I was like, I can't figure out how to get around. So here,
it's a golf cart. It's electric. It's fine. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, so and that was me drinking with friends playing golf. So I don't think.
Well,
I think us in a forklift is going to be a problem.
I do have a couple of prospective trips to Chicago planned sometime next year to get our whiskey on shelves in Chicago. And if you're ever in Houston, you need to look us up. I will happily cause some trouble with you because that's what we should always do.
I will. We would have to strap a GoPro to my head so that people can see what I see.
And not for nothing, there's a golf course close by with golf carts.
There we
And
go.
I know a guy. So we could probably race them down the road.
Yes. That'd be the best. I'm all for it.
We could play golf course polo.
Can we?
Yeah.
Bumper cars? No.
Maybe not. Well, I wouldn't want to damage their golf carts.
We could just get like the little inner tubes, the floaty tubes, and put
around
them.
We could totally wrap them with
they'll be fine.
Bubble wrap or something.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong.
So cool. That would be so cool. Okay, well tell everybody where we can find you.
You can find me.
We are officially at the close to the hour mark. So plug all your stuff and tell people where they can.
You can find me at LUVSydneyMarie.com. Mm-hmm. And then that has all of my Twitter, Instagram, OnlyFans, Twitch, everything right on there.
Yep. And I believe
LUVSydneyMarie.com.
Follow Love Sydney Marie. There you are.
Yeah. So you can literally just Google Love Sydney Marie and you will. I am everything.
It is down in the comments, and that'll bring them to your Instagrams, which totally are awesome, fun and clever. Especially now that you got Reels, because Instagram.
I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, Instagram is trying to kill TikTok.
I don't know if I think TikTok's gone after November.
It's still there. Oh, I think there was a stay on the ban on downloads or whatever, but I mean, it's
so you can't download it. So
I downloaded it preemptively just to make sure I had it, just in case it was.
But as it's updating, we won't be able to update anymore because we won't be able to download it. So now you have it, and then the next big update that happens, that's going to be probably end of the year, November, December. TikTok probably won't work on your phone anymore.
Well, that'll be fixed in January.
Isn't that crazy?
February. It'll be fixed in
February. Hopefully we still get it back. I like TikTok. I'm having fun.
It'll be fixed in February. Everybody go vote. Make sure you're registered. Do the right thing. You do the right thing.
Vote for TikTok. Just kidding. No. Don't do that. Vote with your heart, guys.
Yeah, vote with your do what Ted Cruz said. Vote with your heart for people who you can trust. And then, God, he's such a toad. Anyway, we're gonna keep politics away. Sad.
We're gonna keep politics away. We're just gonna say vote. Just go out there and vote.
Vote as many times as you can. No, that's that's the wrong message too.
Hey.
Just make sure you're registered and go fucking vote, people.
Yes, just do that.
There you go. Instagrams, Twitters, Twitch, Facebook,
OnlyFans.
The OnlyFans, but it's all there.
Probably have a Pinterest, Spotify, or something.
LUVSydneyMarie.com. Go find her and follow her shit. She is as entertaining as she's been tonight. She is so much more so in her own like unfiltered little environment, because she can just she doesn't have to bounce it off this old idiot. You can just let her be her, and it is so
I think I'm better with you.
Well, you're welcome to come on anytime and prove it again.
All right.
Because the door is open. You can always come in. Just drop me a line when you want to do a thing, and I'll drop you a line when I want to bring you back.
Just like hack into your calls, be like, "Hey guys."
Yeah, actually, this is the secret. I don't want anybody to know this, but it's the same Zoom link every time.
Oh
my god! Pop in whenever.
Just show up.
Yeah. Also, Kevin Bacon. It's the same Zoom link every time. The same one that I sent to you. So.
Kevin Bacon.
Waiting for you, brother. Yeah. He's kind of a crush.
I would do that too.
I have his picture hanging over there in my studio.
Yes.
Yeah. It used to be right here over my shoulder, but I had to move it because his eyes were just intoxicating.
Oh.
Anyway.
I get it.
Yeah. So
I get it. That's why I don't have stuff in front of me.
Speaking of intoxicating, you can find my delicious whiskey anywhere in the state of Texas at your local spec store, your local liquor store. If your local liquor store doesn't have it, find a better liquor store. We will soon be coming to New York and Chicago and Miami. So if you're out there in New York, Chicago, and Miami, pay attention. We'll be on the shelf soon. Fingers crossed, hopefully by Easter. If we could do it by Christmas, that'd be awesome. But I'm not gonna.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
I'm not gonna oversell that one. And then big thanks to our friends over on Twitch, the Cabin Fever live stream, and hi to everybody in Twitter world. Follow our channel, Old Humble Distilling, on
follow
here on the YouTubes. And if we get 100 likes on this video, I will give away a free bottle of whiskey to one of my subscribers. So there you go. Anything else you want to talk about, Sydney?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's been kind of a whirlwind.
It's bats with tits and when to feed gremlins. Yes, this is life.
Man, the gremlin conversation could go on for so long.
I know.
So it's a fun little movie until you like start thinking about the details, and it's like
until you decide you want to adopt a magua, and you're like,
well, right, and like they let this idiot just like get one, and he's just like, I sell ashtrays, and I'm an inventor, and I want your living creature, give it to me. Anyway, we could so many questions in that movie. Anyway. We could do this all night. I'm going to fade to our closing screen. Sydney, would you like to say goodnight to everybody one more time?
Goodbye, my loves.
All right.
Follow, subscribe,
yes,
and then hit me up.
Please and thank you. That is officially the closing screen. I'm going to meet you now, Sydney. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to subscribe to this channel right there in the middle. There's also some other videos up there and over there that you can go check out. And then there's that playlist there. Good night, everybody. Cheers.